Welcome to Gold Standard Wrestling, presented by Rob Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Gold Standard Wrestling. I'm putting this as episode 1. I was supposed to be with you guys at noon, but I had some technical difficulties. You know how it is here in the world of pro wrestling. Again, my name is Rob Johnson. I am here with Legacy Maker Sports Network, and I am here with Rob Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. I can't even talk. I'm so excited right now because of everything that's going on in the world of pro wrestling. As you see right there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about certain things today. I'm going to talk about Goldberg. I'm talking about the Liv Morgan injury. I'm talking about Mercedes versus Storm, Toni Storm, the best women's match of all time, the Raw Outlook, the Night of Champions, the final word in the world of pro wrestling, which I have something very special coming to you all. Folks, let's start with Goldberg. All right. I know there are a lot of people out there who are really kind of upset about the man they call Goldberg. The man called Goldberg will be facing off against one of the best world heavyweight champions, in my opinion, of all time, Gunther, at the Saturday Night's Main Event on July the 12th, 2025. That night is important for a few reasons. That night is important because that is going to be one of the bigger nights of pro wrestling. As you see right here, you have Toni Storm. We'll get to Mercedes and Toni in a second. But that night, July the 12th, 2025, could be one of the greater nights of pro wrestling we've seen in a long time. Let's get to Goldberg, guys. 58 years old, former WCW wrestler who, quite frankly, dominated his era. He had the run-ins with Bret Hart. He had the great match with Hulk Hogan. However, folks, the fact is he's 58 years old. Hulk Hogan is not the type, not Hulk Hogan, but Goldberg is not the type of guy at this stage of his career where he should be winning any World Heavyweight Championships. As you know, Goldberg is from Atlanta, Georgia. The match against Gunther will be in Atlanta, Georgia. That is one of the reasons that WWE, I feel, is doing it. Now, what is the other reason? Is it because Seth Rollins will be cashing in? I don't know. Can you tell me? Is it that they want to have an attraction? Because usually when WWE has Goldberg going here, they have him in Saudi Arabia. Well, they won't be in Saudi Arabia. It will be in Atlanta, Georgia. What is WWE trying to do here? What are they trying to accomplish by having this match between Gunther, who is, quite frankly, one of the best in the world of pro wrestling, and then you have this guy, Goldberg, who he called last night on Monday Night Raw a one-trick pony. And if we're being honest, folks, he is. Goldberg at this stage in his career and his life is a one-trick pony. So if you're Goldberg, what do you look to accomplish on this match? If you're Gunther, your legacy is intact, in my opinion. You're one of the great professional wrestlers of all time. Even this early in your career, as far as being on the main roster, I think like last 4 or 5 years, something like that. I think Gunther has held a world championship, I think 85 to 90% of the time that he's been a wrestler. He's rarely not held a championship, that Gunther, here in the WWE. When I think about this match and I think about Goldberg and I think about what WWE wants to accomplish here are a few things. One, they could set up something where Goldberg could win the championship and you have Seth Rollins cash in. Now, could you have a situation where, and hear me out, folks, hear me out. And I'm always trying to find ways to bring heat, always trying to find ways to bring some type of heat, right? So we know Goldberg is retiring. We know Goldberg is in his home state of Atlanta. Is not, I say home state of Atlanta. He's in his home state of Georgia, in the city of Atlanta, for this match. What if Goldberg was the next man to join Seth Rollins' flock? Hear me out when I say this, okay? Now, we know Goldberg is retiring. We know that he's no longer going to be wrestling. What if Goldberg was that enforcer? because you heard him say that he likes Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is a fan of Goldberg too. What if Goldberg joins in, just not for a long period of time, but for a short period, where he's the enforcer, and this is how you do it. And this is a good way to turn Gunther face, because I believe Gunther as a face or a heel is going to succeed. But I believe Gunther as a face, and still him having that intensity, still him being that great pro wrestler, is going to get him even over the stratosphere when it comes to his popularity. Gunther's a good talker. Gunther can go in the ring. Gunther can do everything you ask for. Gunther can do in the ring. There's nothing that Gunther can't do that you ask of him that he can't do in the professional wrestling ring. So that's how I look at that. Now, let's talk about how that situation will play out. Goldberg could be an enforcer for a few months. He could try to breathe some life into that faction. Because let's be honest, the faction between Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, and Paul Heyman right now, folks, is just not working. And we'll get to that in a second when we do the Raw outlook. It's just not working. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. I don't think that it's going to. I just don't look at it as something that's going to be productive over time. Now, if they can add some things to it, like I said, maybe a surprise in Atlanta. How crazy would that be in Atlanta, Georgia, if Goldberg turned on the fans, turned on his people, and joined the evil empire of Seth freaking Rollins and Paul Heyman? That would be absolutely crazy, and Gunther would lose the championship, and they would bring the title over to their faction with Seth Rollins. Now, the likelihood of that happening, I give it about 20%, 30% chance. It's not going to happen. Or Goldberg could win the championship, and then Seth Rollins could cash in on him. Now, Gunther could also attack Seth Rollins after the match. Hey, I want my championship back, etc. There's so many elements and layers to this. It's very complicated. If WWE can do it the right way, and I say this, and I say this again, if they can do it the right way, then they can make it work. If not, then it's going to fall on his head. It's going to be another dud for the WWE. Now, let's get a quick word in from our guy, Darrell Owens, as he tells you what you need to watch.
It's Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network, and you're watching Gold Standard Wrestling. Let's go.
You heard what he said. Let's go, folks. Now, we're going to get to Liv Morgan. Let's talk about the Liv Morgan injury. See, a lot of you out there are big-time Liv Morgan fans. You think Liv Morgan is the best thing since sliced bread. You think she's beautiful. You think she's this, blah, blah, blah. Now, in my opinion, when I look at Liv Morgan, I don't see much. I'm not a fan of hers. I've never been a fan. I don't like her style in the ring. I think that this is actually an opportunity for the other women to start to get more shine, to start getting more opportunities. Now, the Judgment Day, this is going to be a big test, especially for the Judgment Day. They're bringing in, they have the new member, I believe it's Stephanie, and they have the opportunity for her to outshine Liv Morgan. And I say outshine Liv Morgan in the sense of this. The Judgment Day since Rhea Ripley left has been dull. It's been bad. It hasn't been good. It's been absolute trash. Let's be honest. Since Liv Morgan joined the freaking Judgment Day, it's been complete and utter trash. Okay? And I think I'm being nice when I say that. That the Judgment Day has been complete trash since Liv Morgan joined that group. Yes, Dominic Mysterio has won the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, and he has made that title relevant, etc. But when it comes to Liv Morgan, no, she has done absolutely nothing. Nothing that can persuade us to say we are fans of the Judgment Day like we used to be fans of the Judgment Day when they had Damian Priest, when they had Rhea Ripley, when it was actually something. It's nothing now. We don't like it. It's not a good faction. Liv Morgan is a good wrestler. I'm not going to take anything away from the young lady, but this is time for everybody else to completely step up and show that Liv Morgan is irrelevant in WWE. I'm not saying she's irrelevant. I'm just saying that I think there are better parts that can be put in place, better people that can be put in place. And for the love of God, let me say this. Getting injured is never a good thing. You never want anyone to get injured. Let me say this, though. It saves us from Brie Bella. Is it Brie Bella? I believe she was supposed to get in there one of the Bella twins or whatever. It just saves us from Liv Morgan against one of the Bella twins. We don't want to see the Bella twins. We don't want to see Brie. We don't want to see the other one. We don't want to see those twins. Tell them to get the hell out. It's over. The Divas era is gone. We don't want to see it. Don't bring that crap back. Because I'm telling you, the women's division and AEW is getting better. The women's division, WWE, is getting better between NXT, between the main roster. It's getting better. You're starting to see things outside of Charlotte Flair. You're starting to see things outside of Becky Lynch. Because Lord knows they are so boring. They're so boring. So the other elements we're getting to the women's division, let's continue to get those things and let's continue to build. The Liv Morgan injury should help the other women continue to build and bring better success to the women's division because they don't need her. They just don't. Speaking of women, let's go to this match right here, as we saw earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday, July the 12th, we have potentially one of the greatest women's matches of all time. And whether she's Sasha Banks, whether she's Mercedes Moné, she has been involved in a few classics. Just ask Bayley. Just ask Charlotte Flair. Just ask Bianca Belair. Toni Storm, the AEW Women's World Champion, timeless Toni Storm, against the TBS champion Mercedes Moné / every other title you can think of from every other continent, from every other country in the world. Mercedes Moné, she has it all. She just captured the title in Mexico last week. So yeah, Mercedes Moné I'm a big fan of hers. Saw her live when she was when they were in Norfolk at the Chartway Arena. She still has that aura about her. She still has all the elements of a great pro wrestler that you want in Mercedes Moné. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time I have an AEW topic on here. Listen, I'm just being honest with you. AEW has been doing what they're supposed to do. When you look at the Hurt Syndicate, when you look at Mercedes Moné, when you look at the World Heavyweight title scene right now, AEW is doing a good job of having a better product for their fans. And this match right here, again, Saturday, July 12th, is going to be potentially one of the greatest female matches of all time. I think it is. I think that it's going to be a classic. I think that if you are AEW, it'd be very smart here to have Mercedes go over. I do. I had Mercedes go over. In fact, this little duo of timeless Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné, this needs to go on for a couple of months. We need to see this for more than just one match. We need to see this. And I need to see AEW bring in another big-time female star to match what Mercedes Moné has as far as her star power. Yes, this will be, in my opinion, again, one of the greatest women's matches of all time. I think it's going to go for about 25 to 35 minutes. AEW has to make sure they book it right. And you're asking, are you going to put Dean Ambrose in your main event, or are you going to have Dean Ambrose's match lead up to that against Hangman Adam Page? It's a very tough subject. It's a very tough spot to put AEW in because you don't want to come off a crazy match between Moxley. I call him Dean Ambrose. I apologize. Between Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. And then you follow up with the women's match and the crowd is dead. I think what you would have to do is, maybe have the World Heavyweight title match, 2 matches, but, maybe a match, have that match, maybe have something where you have some type of big announcement, maybe you have a match in between, something like that. I don't know. But in my expert opinion, you've got to have this match. You got to have Mercedes Moné and you got to have timeless Toni Storm as your main event. It has to be the main event, because if this match is not the main event, then really what are we doing AEW? This has to be the main event. It has to be the main event. Again, AEW, timeless Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné needs to be the main event. I swear to God, if they come out and make this the first match or make this the second or third match or just make it seem like it's just some regular match, when we know this is not just a regular match. This match could change the trajectory for AEW for a very, very long time. You know that. I know that. So, if you're AEW, you gotta be smart here. You gotta be smart. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb if you're AEW. Make sure you take advantage of this opportunity because you're not going to beat WWE, but you can damn sure start to threaten them a little bit. You're not going to beat them, but you can start to say, hey, look, we got some good matches here. So Mercedes Moné, Toni Storm, the AEW Women's Championship, it should be the main event at All In Arlington, Texas on July the 12th. That's just the bottom line. Now, let's talk about last night. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Now, I be honest with you, I watch Raw, but I also go through Bleacher Report and I look at their ratings. I give their ratings. They have I think it's A, B, C, D, F, whatever. You know, the regular grades like you get in school, crap like that. So let's talk about what happened on Raw last night real quick, and we'll get to the other subjects. Let's start out with Seth Rollins kicking off Raw, talking about dominating the world, taking over the world. I thought it was horrible again. I was not a fan of it. Bleacher Report gave it a B plus. I'll give it a C plus. Not a big fan of that. Now, Penta against Braun Breaker. You want to talk about a match that you want to see for an Intercontinental Championship, for a U.S. Championship, for a World Championship? I'm not saying Penta's going to be a world champion, but I'm saying you want to see these two. Penta and Braun Breaker are freaking gold. It's gold standard wrestling, by the way. Are freaking gold in the ring. It's a great match. Braun Breaker just absolutely snapped his ass in half. Snapped his ass in half with that spear. That Braun Breaker spear ain't no joke, ladies and gentlemen. He took him out. Make sure you go to Netflix and check out what you saw last night. That thing was brutal. Now, Goldberg sits down and talks to Michael Cole about Saturday night's main event. Now, Bleacher Report gave it an A. I'll be honest, Goldberg sold it. He sold it very well. He sold it very, very well because Cole actually asked Goldberg. He said, will this be your last match? He said, yes, but what would happen if you won? And Goldberg said, interesting dilemma, isn't it? Cole quoted Goldberg as saying when questioned about what happens if he wins the world title on July 12th. Goldberg officially referenced the Saturday main event as his retirement match. Cole reiterated after the package aired, Cole reiterated about what would happen, etc. Now, check this out. Did you think I was going to let that stand? Goldberg said, referencing Gunther's verbal assault on him at Bad Blood in Atlanta. Remember Bad Blood? When I believe it was when The Rock came out and all that stuff? And that was before, but they had that confrontation at Bad Blood in Atlanta. Goldberg sold this very well. You got to give Goldberg credit. No matter how, even though Goldberg is 118 years old, Goldberg sold this thing so well that you want to actually watch this crappy match, even though Gunther deserves a better opponent. So, we're going to watch this match on Saturday night's main event, July 12th, one of the bigger nights in pro wrestling history. He sold it. He did what he was supposed to do. Now we're going to see how the match plays out. Next, we got the Women's Queen of the Ring semifinal, Jade Cargill against Roxanne Perez. And that was, I said Stephanie earlier, it's Roxanne Perez. She's the new member of the Judgment Day. So maybe she can continue to grow. Jade Cargill, ladies and gentlemen, all you out there continue to judge Jade Cargill. She's getting better and better in the ring each week. And now she won this match. At the end, it looked like it was a little bit of a snafu. It looked like there was some miscommunication a little bit. But overall, really good match. I think the match was about it. I gave the match an A. Bleacher Report gave it a B. I think there was almost an A+ match. There was just some small things in the match that needed to be cleaned up. Now, this match sets up Asuka versus Jade Cargill. Understand this, folks. Asuka is still Asuka, one of the greatest professional women wrestlers in the world. It doesn't matter if she's been out for almost a year. It doesn't matter if she's had some momentum swings. Asuka is gold in the ring. If Jade Cargill goes to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and she beats Jade Cargill, I'm sorry, if she beats Asuka, sorry about that, folks. I had a quick call. Give me 1 second. Oh, man. See, this is why you got to put on Do Not Disturb when you were doing the show. Now, if she can go to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and she can beat Asuka, because Asuka, ladies and gentlemen, is just not any normal wrestler. This woman was undefeated for, I think, what was it, 2? I can't remember. It was, if somebody can reference it, let me know. I can't remember, but she was undefeated for a very long time. She came to the main roster, was undefeated, and of course, as you know, the crap happened with Charlotte Flair, where Charlotte beat her, and everybody was upset. Like, oh, how could Charlotte beat her at WrestleMania when Asuka should remain undefeated? This is a big step for Jade Cargill. This is an opportunity for her to earn a women's world's title shot. Now, we know that if she gets it, she's going to go after the SmackDown Women's Champion. She's going to go after that WWE Undisputed Women's Champion on SmackDown. She's probably not going to come after Io Sky because that wouldn't make a lot of sense. But, it seems like both women's champions are kind of like faces right now. So it's hard to say where she would go here. But I really think Jade winning on Saturday will benefit her and bring her career to even bigger heights. Now, let's get to this guy right here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So earlier we had a discussion and we talked about Goldberg and we said what Goldberg did and what Goldberg didn't do. Everything with Goldberg's promo was absolutely great, right? Gunther's promo. Last time, my guy, make sure you check out Larry Patterson, Game Time Sports 365. My guy Larry Patterson. Make sure you check that out. Now, make sure you check out Larry Patterson. He's brought all the content. Football season's coming up. He's about to give you all the great content. We got the Sunday night hype coming up as well. Football season. Check out all that. But we talked about Gunther last night, just how great and just how intense and how crazy and just unbelievable this guy is in the ring and on the mic. Gunther, and I'm gonna read the words here from Bleacher Report. A fired up Gunther hit the ring, responded to Goldberg's words early in the night, and did not mince words. He criticized the veteran for being a one-trick pony, a wrestler who cannot hang with the best of today, and vowed to embarrass him all over Saturday Night's Main Event next month. Did you hear what I just said? He vows to embarrass him in Atlanta. He vows to embarrass him next month. Gunther, I'm telling you, go back and watch that promo on Netflix. That is how you do a promo. That is how you conduct yourself in the ring. Jey Uso, that is how you do a promo. That is how you perfect a promo. That is what makes people want to go and drive to Atlanta to watch Saturday Night's Main Event. That's what drives people to want to watch a main event between a thoroughbred and an old man. A thoroughbred versus an old man. That's what Goldberg versus Gunther is. A thoroughbred versus an old beat-up man who can barely walk to the ring. Who's next? Yeah. Nobody. Who cares? Who cares who's next? You're next, Gunther. No, Goldberg. I'm going to kick your ass all over the ring. I'm going to beat you down because you're not as good as me. You feel what I'm saying, folks? Do you understand what I'm saying? So the promos really took the match from, I don't really want to see that match, to I want to see Gunther kick Goldberg's ass on July the 12th on Saturday Night's Main Event. So basically, both guys did their job. Good job by both. Now, let's talk about the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Bayley versus Becky Lynch. I'm so sick of Becky Lynch. I know you guys are sick of Becky Lynch. Why doesn't she just join Seth Rollins' group already so we can get the crap over with? Why not? Okay? I don't know why they just haven't done it. Now, I give the match a B. It was a decent match. Now, here's the problem with the match. Bayley continues to have beefs with everybody she's friends with. You look at it, you look at the match. It was a decent match. Lyra Van Kura ended up coming in, beating down Becky Lynch. Bayley was upset about it. She's like, why could you do this to me? Blah, blah, blah. All this is setting up, folks, is a three-way. I don't think the three-way is going to – if they could announce it for Night of Champions, I haven't heard anything yet. It's still very early in the week. But you could very easily see a three-way between Valkyria, Becky Lynch, and Bayley for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at that event. They could save it for Saturday Night's Main Event. They could put it on Raw next week. But I feel like that so far everybody has done their job. you have to. Valkyria needs a push as a heel. I think that she could do it. She's dressing differently. Her mannerisms, her womanisms, if you want to call it that. She's doing a really good job of showing everybody that she is a legit was a legit champion when she was champion, and what she can do heel. She can be a heel or a face. So I think that it's time to have a Becky Lynch put that title aside. Again, go join Seth's heel faction to get that thing rolling, because that thing is very soft right now. It doesn't have any steam in it. Becky Lynch could add some flavor to it, I think. So good match, but and then disqualification. Rhea Ripley brawls with Raquel Rodriguez. Now, this is going to be the match to watch. Because of the brawl last night, because Rhea Ripley was put through a table by Raquel Rodriguez, they're going to have a match now at Night of Champions. I will be picking that match in a few minutes. I give this segment a B. But here's the problem with Raquel Rodriguez, everybody. Raquel Rodriguez is as big as Rhea Ripley, probably bigger. She has the toughness. She just doesn't have the charisma on the microphone. And when they brought her back, when she came back and she was with Liv Morgan, I felt bad for her then, because I'm just like, you guys don't believe in Raquel Rodriguez. You just don't. And I fully expect, I'll pick the match in a second, but I'll just give it to you now. I expect Rhea Ripley to defeat Raquel Rodriguez on Saturday. She's walking around, Raquel is, with 2 belts. Instead of just putting the title with Roxanne Perez, she just walking around with the 2 titles, and maybe, or here's a scenario. Come Saturday, maybe Roxanne Perez gets involved. Maybe she attacks Rhea Ripley, and then maybe they make a declaration that she is the new women's champion with Raquel Rodriguez, and then that sets up when Liv Morgan gets back. Maybe there's some type of rivalry between Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan, or you get the inevitable match when Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan are going to face each other. We all know it's going to happen sooner or later. Just like with everything in the Judgment Day, everything is going to come to an end here soon. Now, let's go to what happened next on Monday Night Raw. We had the King of the Ring tournament semifinal between Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso threw everything at each other in this match. A+ match, here in my opinion. Bleacher Report gave it an A. Cody Rhodes wins. So what does this set up, ladies and gentlemen? As we start to go into our pay-per-view talk, this sets up this match, ladies and gentlemen. At the Night of Champions, we have the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, against the Viper, Randy Orton. See, this match right here, this is at the Night of Champions, the King of the Ring tournament. The King of the Ring is synonymous with change. Look at Bret the Hitman Hart. Look at King Mabel. Look at, like I said, I think I already mentioned Bret Hart. Yeah, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, King Mabel. Look how things changed for Gunther once he won the King of the Ring. You look at Xavier Woods, one of the people who won the King of the Ring, didn't change anything for him, unfortunately. But it did start to change his attitude. If you notice, after he won that King of the Ring, his attitude changed, which is his attitude now. And you look at this match between these two great rivals, and they are rivals. Remember, they used to be in a group together back in the day. Back when you had him, you had Cody Rhodes, and you had Ted DiBiase's son, Ted DiBiase Jr., I believe was his name. Legacy. It was Legacy, I believe. Yeah, this old time. A lot of people don't remember. Yeah, I believe the group name was Legacy. But when you look at this match, when you look at the dynamics, could this mean a heel turn for Randy Orton? Could this mean that this could start a rivalry between these two? I would be shocked if Randy Orton won this match. Now, you would think, is WWE trying to set up another John Cena match against Randy Orton? I would hope not, because we've already seen that. Is this a situation where Cody Rhodes wins the championship? I'm sorry, he wins this match and he goes after Gunther, or does he go after Seth freaking Rollins? Because, and I say Seth freaking Rollins because if Rollins cashes in, he's gonna go after, he would go after Rollins at that point. But I think we all know that the big fish in the pond is John Cena. So whoever wins this match, which I fully expect it to be Cody Rhodes, I expect him to go after John Cena. Now, do I expect John Cena to lose his match on Saturday? No, I don't. But I don't know, folks. It's hard to tell because right now, everything with WWE is just up in the air. You really don't know where and what direction they're going to go when it comes to just the world title picture. Everything is the Seth's group. Everything is up in the air. But what we do know is that Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton will battle out. I'm picking Cody Rhodes to defeat Randy Orton and go on to get a championship title opportunity on Saturday. Now, let's pick. We got some other matches we need to pick. Raquel Rodriguez against Rhea Ripley in a street fight. How do I expect this match to turn out? I expect this match to be physical. I expect this match to be hard-hitting. I expect this match to do everything that it needs to. Wow, let's say we just had an NBA trade between the Pelicans and the Wizards. I'll get to that trade tomorrow when I do Rob Johnson's sports show, episode 95. But let's get back on task here. I believe this to be a physical match, to be a hard-hitting match. I think that both of these women will bring it all in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. But I'm going to give this match to Rhea Ripley I'm going to give it to Raquel Rodriguez. I think Raquel Rodriguez wins the match. I think Roxanne Perez interferes, and she presents her with the tag team championship. And then Rhea Ripley goes and finds herself a partner as well. And then we get some really good matches. That's how you set up the women's tag team titles. Hear me, WWE? Are you listening, WWE? You get Roxanne Perez to get involved, cost Rhea Ripley the match. She put the other half of the title on Roxanne Perez. Rhea Ripley goes and finds herself a partner, and we have a couple of months of good women's tag team action. It's not that difficult. Get it done, WWE. Next match, we have my guy, Jacob Fatu against Solo Sikoa for the United States Heavyweight Championship. Quite simply here, folks, it would be good heat to put the title on Solo Sikoa, to have somebody maybe have a surprise entrance or something like that, where there's a new member of the bloodline, etc. But I fully expect for Jacob Fatu to hold on to his U.S. championship, beat Solo Sikoa, and continue his dominant run. So I'm giving this match to Jacob Fatu, retain his title on Saturday. Jade Cargill against Asuka. I believe this match will be one of the better matches on the card. Asuka with her unorthodox style, Jade Cargill with her athleticism and her just ability to be stingy and be so crafty in the ring. I believe it's going to be a great match between these two. I am giving it to Jade Cargill, and I have her winning the championship. Let's see. Next match we have here. Oh, we have an add-on here. We got Sami Zayn against Karrion Kross. We need to see Karrion Kross win this match. Karrion Kross needs it. This match could steal the show. As long as they give it enough time and allow Kross to show what he can do. I'm giving this match to Karrion Kross, defeating Sami Zayn in an upset for sure. Now, the main event, John Cena against CM Punk. Now, what could now, I'll be honest with you guys. There have been rumors that they want to switch the World Heavyweight Championship to Monday Night Raw full time and maybe put the World Heavyweight Championship on SmackDown. How do you shock the world? How do you do something that is so impactful? You have CM Punk win the Undisputed Championship, and you have Seth Rollins cash in on him in Saudi Arabia, and you have the heist of the century overseas. Remember, Seth Rollins had the heist of the century in the United States. Now, could he have the heist of the century overseas? They could run with that. They could say Seth Rollins 2 times. Who knows? Listen, I'm gonna say CM Punk here, man. I'm gonna give this to CM Punk. I'm gonna give this match to CM Punk. I don't think John Cena needs the world heavyweight championship. John Cena has so many other things that he could be doing as far as this heel turn and doing other things. He doesn't need the world championship, but I feel like CM Punk does. And I feel like what this would do, if you have CM Punk win the championship, Seth Rollins comes out, stomps him, wins it. You set up a match at SummerSlam. And this is how you set up SummerSlam, folks. This match is in June. You got July, you got August. SummerSlam, I believe, is the next PLE, if I'm not mistaken. So if you are WWE, there are so many ways and just ways that you can set this thing up. There's so many, or you could also have it where John Cena goes over CM Punk. But the question is, how does that go over? How does that go over? And how do you make it work? But one thing we cannot see, and one thing that cannot happen, and I have to emphasize this. I have to emphasize this with so much of my just my chest when I say it. If WWE somehow, some way, if they somehow, some way make this a clean finish with John Cena beats CM Punk, that could be the end of CM Punk, and that'd be a bad look. And it can't be a disqualification. It can't be a disqualification because think about it, folks. Again, CM Punk wins the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. The next real PLE for WWE. Now, of course, you got Heat Wave, you got the other NXT PLEs, etc. But the next official, August the 2nd and 3rd, you have SummerSlam, a 2-day event. You gotta have Seth. You gotta pay this rivalry off some way, somehow. You have to pay it off. We cannot go into SummerSlam with John Cena as the world champion. I believe John Cena has other things he could do as far as rivalries. It's different things where he could go against somebody, where he could have a decent match against someone. Who knows? You could set him up where he goes after Gunther. I would prefer to see Gunther against John Cena at SummerSlam. I would prefer to see that. Really, I would. I think that would be a better element. That the element of seeing Cena against Gunther, especially if Gunther can get that heel turn. He can get that face turn here soon. And think about just the absolute verbals that will be thrown between those two. Think about that. Then you have the element of Cody Rhodes. So you never know. So Cody Rhodes or Randy Orton, you could have a 3-way. You could have anything. You could have anything happen here. But the main thing that you need to have here going forward is you need to have a match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins for that Universal Championship at SummerSlam. Now, again, if you want to include Cody Rhodes, because think about that. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Seth freaking Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk. Sorry about that. Yeah, those three. They have history. There's a lot of history. You're telling me that on night 1 of SummerSlam, you could have John Cena against Gunther for that World Heavyweight Championship. Because for God's sake, we wouldn't want to see Goldberg against John Cena. That is not a dream match. That is a nightmare match. But Gunther, John Cena, night 1, are you kidding me? That is gold. Night 2, a triple threat between Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Seth freaking Rollins for that Universal Championship. And you already know where I'm going with this. You implement Roman Reigns somehow interfering. And then that's the way you set up him and Seth Rollins for WrestleMania for that championship. Somehow, some way you get him involved. I don't know how. Could be a situation where Roman Reigns comes in and he helps out CM Punk. And that's how they set up their little group. Who knows? I don't think they'll be in a group, but some way, somehow, you implement Roman Reigns where he can have an impact and he can set up somebody for WrestleMania, because Roman Reigns will be coming back very soon, and I believe it'll be very impactful. So let's get to our last word, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my picks. Again, I'll give my picks. I got CM Punk. I have Seth Rollins cashing in. I have Raquel Rodriguez winning. I have her splitting the championships with Roxanne Perez, setting up them against Rhea Ripley and a partner of her choosing. I got Jacob Fatu winning, retaining the United States Heavyweight Championship. I've got Gunther winning, possible cash in there as well, but less likely than what it is for the Universal Championship. I got Cody Rhodes defeating Randy Orton, and I have Jade Cargill defeating Asuka and getting her world title shot. Now, let's get to the final word, ladies and gentlemen. And next time, I promise you, I will have like a little opening to that or final word. But this is the final word today in the world of pro wrestling. And I want to address somebody. Yes, I want to address Busted Open's founder, owner, whatever you want to call it. I want to address Dave LaGreca, the Cody Crybaby, the man who was responsible for Roman Reigns not re-winning his title at WrestleMania a couple years back. And the reason I say that, folks, is this. Because Dave LaGreca continues to go at this man. He continues to throw shots at this man, The Rock. He continues to throw shots. He's obsessed. Dave LaGreca is obsessed with The Rock because he keeps saying, "Well, you're throwing the curtain back, and I'm a fan, and this and that." Dave LaGreca, let me throw something at you, sir. See, it's your fault. If you wasn't for you and your little stupid Cody Crybabies, Roman Reigns would have retained the championship. He would have retained the championship, okay? And then guess what it would have set up? It would have set up John Cena against Roman Reigns. John Cena could have beat Roman Reigns, but guess what would have happened? We could have had one of the greater finishes of all time, where The Rock could have came out at WrestleMania and he could have turned John Cena heel. He could have made a heel turn by having the John Cena turn on the people and turn by having The Rock and him in some type of faction. Just imagine if that would have happened with The Rock and Roman Reigns rather than John Cena and Cody Rhodes. It would have been so much bigger. Imagine that, folks. Imagine John Cena turning heel at WrestleMania instead of at Elimination Chamber. Imagine him turning heel at that moment and getting a world and basically, selling his soul at WrestleMania, showing The Rock showing up and John Cena standing side by side with Roman saying, "We're not going to do this," blah blah blah. And think about what would have happened if that heel turn would have ended up being John Cena. What would the heel turn? How about if the heel turn would have been with John Cena had beaten Roman Reigns, and then you had Cody Rhodes going against John Cena or something? I don't know. Basically, all I'm trying to say here, folks, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just so pissed off at this point because I'm just basically saying, look at what could happen. What could have happened if Roman Reigns would have just retained the title? That's how pissed I am about this whole Dave LaGreca crap. Just imagine Roman could have retained the title. You could have kept the title on him for a couple more months, maybe another half a year. You could have had a situation where they had done the heel turn. I got it. They had done the heel turn, but when they did the heel turn, it was on Roman Reigns. And then John Cena still beats Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but you have Cody Rhodes now take down John Cena. If you had Cody Rhodes take down a heel John Cena, and The Rock would have been involved some way, somehow, that would have been a lot better than how they did it at WrestleMania, I believe. I don't think the way they did it at WrestleMania was good at WrestleMania 40. I think it could have been a lot better. I feel like could have been better storylines with it. So you could have had Cody Rhodes end up beating John Cena at Madison Square Garden at one of his last appearances at the end of this year. Because that's one thing that I got to give Bubba Ray Dudley credit on that. And I don't believe it was this year, but I believe last year they said he could have beaten him at Madison Square Garden. You could have played this out for a couple of years. You could have played this out. Cody Rhodes did not have to win the championship at WrestleMania 40. But no, Dave LaGreca and his little Cody Crybabies wanted Cody Rhodes to win the title so much. And guess what we got? We got an underwhelming world title championship run from Cody Rhodes. Very underwhelming. You actually had a situation where people were cheering for John Cena. I mean, you know how long people couldn't stand John Cena. How long people just disliked John Cena, and they were actually cheering for him at WrestleMania as he cheated to beat Cody Rhodes. So, Dave LaGreca, that's your fault, buddy. You want to talk about the process of wrestling, and you want to get in on the meetings and do all this and do all that. Hey, listen, you know, I congratulate you. You do a great job on Busted Open. I watch, and I listen to Busted Open all the time. But when you want to talk about pro wrestling and what's great about pro wrestling and pro wrestling talk, shout out to Bubba, shout out to Mark Henry. Don't beat me up, guys. But when you talk about what's good with pro wrestling and pro wrestling talk, you got it right here on Gold Standard Wrestling. I'll see you all back here next Tuesday.